The sun hung low over the dusty prairie, turning the horizon into molten gold. The wind carried whispers of the past across the open fields, where a lone woman walked with her head bowed, clutching a small leather satchel. Her name was Clara Mayfield, a schoolteacher who had lost nearly everything in the last winter storm: her home, her job, and perhaps a part of her faith in second chances. Her boots were worn, her dress faded, but her spirit still clung to hope like a dying ember refusing to go out. She had answered a simple ad posted in the town square. Widowed rancher seeks help with his 3 children. Room and board provided. Clara didn't expect much, just a roof, a purpose, and a place where the silence didn't echo her loneliness. As she reached the weathered gate of the Hawthorne Ranch, she saw him, a tall man leaning against the fence, hat tipped low, with 3 small figures clinging to his legs. His stance spoke of quiet strength. His eyes, though shadowed by the brim, seemed to study her carefully. Behind him, smoke curled from a small log cabin, the kind of place that felt like it had seen both laughter and tears. "You must be Miss Mayfield," the cowboy said, his voice deep, calm, and edged with kindness. "Name's Caleb Hawthorne. Welcome to our corner of nowhere." Clara nodded politely, unsure of her words. The children peeked at her from behind his legs. 2 little girls and a boy, each clutching wooden toy horses as if they were their lifeline. The youngest, barely 4, whispered, "Is she gonna stay, Pa?" Caleb glanced down and smiled softly. "That depends on her," he said, eyes lifting to meet Clara's. Inside, the house smelled of wood smoke and wildflowers. Everything was simple but clean, the kind of place built with hard hands and honest hearts. Over dinner, silence lingered until the eldest girl, Mary, spoke up. Ma used to hum when she cooked. "Do you hum?" she asked innocently. The question struck Clara harder than she expected. She forced a smile. "Maybe someday," she whispered. When the children went to bed, Caleb poured her a cup of coffee and sat across the wooden table. "I'll be straight with you, Miss Mayfield," he said. "They've been through more than kids should. Lost their mother last winter. I need someone patient, someone who can bring a bit of warmth back into this house." Clara looked down, twisting the edge of her sleeve. "Mr. Hawthorne," she said quietly, "I came here to work. Not to fill a place that isn't mine. I can't be a mother." Caleb's expression didn't change. Instead, a small, knowing smile curved his lips. "That's all right," he said gently. "I've got 3 already calling you Mama in their hearts, whether you know it or not." His words stunned her, not because they were bold, but because they were said with truth and kindness, not expectation. That night, lying in the small guest room under the creak of the old timbers, Clara couldn't sleep. The laughter of the children still echoed in her mind. Maybe she wasn't meant to replace anyone. Maybe she was just meant to help them remember what love sounded like. Outside, the wind whispered through the cottonwoods, carrying a promise across the moonlit fields that sometimes family isn't born, it's found. And that was only the beginning of the healing this house was about to see. Weeks passed, and with them came small miracles wrapped in ordinary days. Clara began teaching the children in the mornings, letters, numbers, and little songs that filled the cabin with laughter once more. Caleb would watch from the fields, pausing his work just to listen. It reminded him of what home used to sound like. Slowly, Clara started humming again without realizing it, just as Mary had asked. One afternoon, while hanging laundry in the yard, Clara noticed the youngest, Abby, struggling to tie a ribbon around her wooden horse. The girl huffed in frustration and tossed it to the ground. Clara knelt beside her, patient and calm. "You don't give up that easy, do you?" she teased softly. Abby shook her head. "Ma used to do it for me," she said quietly. Clara's hands stilled. A lump rose in her throat, but she smiled anyway. "Well then," she said, tying the ribbon with a gentle touch, "I guess it's my turn to learn how your mama did it." Abby looked up, her big eyes shining. "Thanks, Mama," she said without thinking. The word hit Clara like sunlight breaking through clouds. She didn't correct her. She couldn't. That night, as she washed dishes, Caleb came in, dusted from the fields. He leaned against the counter, watching her silently. "Kids seem happier," he said. "You've done more for this home than you think." She tried to hide her blush. "I just did what needed to be done," she murmured. Caleb chuckled. Sometimes doing what needs to be done is what love really looks like. Their eyes met, and in that quiet moment, something unspoken passed between them, something both terrifying and beautiful. Winter came again, but this time the cabin wasn't silent. There was laughter around the fire, stories at supper, and small hands clinging to Clara's skirt wherever she went. She had found her rhythm in this place, and somehow her heart had learned to belong again. One night, after putting the children to bed, Caleb found Clara standing by the window, watching the snow fall. He stepped closer, his voice low. "You remember what you said when you first came here?" Clara turned, nodding slowly. "I said I couldn't be a mother." Caleb smiled faintly, stepping closer until his shadow mingled with hers. "Well," he whispered, glancing toward the sleeping children's room. "Looks like they disagreed." Clara's eyes glistened as she smiled through tears. "And what about you, Mr. Hawthorne?" she asked softly. "What do you think?" Caleb reached up, gently brushing a stray curl from her cheek. "I think," he said, voice full of warmth, "that sometimes God doesn't give us what we ask for. He gives us what we need." Outside, the snow kept falling, quiet, pure and new, just like the life they were building together. Clara finally realized she didn't have to be their mother to be their home. And Caleb knew he didn't need a miracle. He'd already found one standing right in front of him,